Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? You're watching New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. We are live here on a Tuesday, back on our weekly live show flow. We're going to go live around this time every single Tuesday, so make sure your notifications are turned on and you are subscribed to the channel. We're going to continue to put out Knicks videos every single day this summer. We'll be live for the NBA draft, even though the Knicks don't have a pick on the channel. We're going to be live for NBA free agency. And if the Knicks make a move, if they trade for a star, hopefully not Jaylen Brown, we're going to be going live here on the channel. I do want to introduce our producer, Patrick Seaman. Welcome to the show, Pat.
How you doing, Mark?
I hope you brought your A game today.
Yeah, I hope you did too, because if you guys obviously didn't miss it. Marsh and I, we had a good conversation before we hopped on here about Mr. Jaylen Brown.
I'm glad you didn't say it was a debate, because I was right and you were wrong, and there was no debate to it.
You know, let's just go to the weigh-in. Let's just go to the weigh-in. Ignore this. Is Jaylen Brown a number 2 on a title team?
I see a whole bunch of ends coming in.
They're talking about the Nuggets.
No, I don't know. Those are ends for
the Nuggets. These are ends for the Nuggets.
No, they're not.
That was bad.
Is Jaylen Brown a number 2 on a championship team? Not even close. The man is the first player in NBA history to miss 8 threes and have 8 turnovers in a Game 7. If Julius Randle did that, you would be ready to throw him into the Atlantic Ocean with 2,000 pounds of weights attached to his ankles.
We're not going to take one game and have that just...
You're right. It wasn't just one game. He was god-awful for the whole series. The man shot 16% from 3. In a 7-game series. He was bad for 3 weeks.
He was 2 wins away from being a number 2 on a championship team with that fraud on his team going for 21 a game in the finals.
Not even close.
Hey, read off Gabriel in the chat. Gabriel's pretty much made my point for me.
Nah,
Gabe, you know ball. Shout out to you.
Not a chance. I didn't take just one game. I looked at all 7 of them, and he was a no-show. This man was being guarded by Duncan Robinson and didn't demand the basketball. He's a beta. I need alphas.
No, that's why he can be a number 2. Your number 2 doesn't need to be an alpha.
No, your number 2 needs to be an alpha.
It would be nice if he was an alpha, but he doesn't need to be an alpha.
That's why the Nuggets are there, because their number 2's an alpha.
What about last year? What about the 2 series before?
When Murray was hurt?
No, I'm talking about Jaylen Brown.
Oh, it's the first and second round of the playoffs. It's not tough.
What about last year when he beat Kevin Durant's Nets, Giannis's Bucks?
Kevin Durant's Nets. They got swept and then they were disarmed 12 months later.
Big reason of that was Jaylen Brown.
Fuck no. Kyrie Irving's a flake, that's right. What number 1 can Jaylen Brown win a championship with? Because clearly it's not Jayson Tatum.
Well, because we don't even know if JT can be a 1 on a championship team, Marsh.
A couple 50-point games in Game 7s in his career.
And what did he do in the finals last year?
Dude, he played up against a really smart coach. And Steve Kerr.
You could say the same thing about this Eastern Conference Finals right now.
No.
All right, Giannis, if he's the number 2 instead of Middleton or Drew Holiday, are they winning?
No.
Yeah, dude.
No.
You don't think Jaylen Brown and Giannis could do? What about Kevin Durant? You put him next to KD.
No, because Booker's better than KD.
Or
Booker is better than Jaylen Brown. He's a good 3. Like, if you put him on the Lakers where they were next to LeBron and Anthony Davis, they'd probably win.
What about, put him next to Luka?
Luka couldn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah, because he didn't have...
He didn't have Brunson, you're right.
Yeah, he didn't have Brunson. But if you put Jaylen Brown next to Luka, I guarantee you that team can win a championship.
No.
Yes, they could.
Not a chance.
Yes,
Jaylen Brown is not a number 2 on a title team. If you switched out Jamal Murray and Jaylen Brown, are the Nuggets winning at all?
No, because
but he's the best player in the world. He's the best player in the world in Jokic.
That's because what Murray and Jokic have, that chemistry, it can't be replicated.
Oh, it's a chemistry thing.
In a vacuum, Jaylen Brown or Jamal Murray?
Jamal Murray.
I would take Jamal too, but you can't tell me it's light years ahead of him.
Kind of is. Jaylen Brown is a 3, and Jamal Murray's a 2.
What 2 players in the league, what situation would he ever be a 3?
They need to get someone better than him on the Celtics if they want to win it all.
That would be one of the best basketball teams of all time.
That's what happens when you win championships. You're one of the best teams of all time. Oh, my gosh. These same people that are saying Jaylen Brown is a 2 are the same people in the comments section telling me the Knicks shouldn't trade Randall.
All right, well,
it's these same names.
I saw somebody talking about it in the chat. Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson.
I'm taking Jalen Brunson.
No. I'm talking about those two on the same team.
Not good
enough. Or are you taking Brunson and Randall?
Neither of them are good enough to win a title. They're about the same. They're about the same in my opinion. Jaylen Brown is a little bit better than Julius Randle. I don't think, where does Jaylen Brown affect the game besides out in transition? Everything else is based off of a team. He's not a good defender. Yes, that's the most overrated stat in the NBA. He was getting cooked by Caleb Martin.
He's a good defender.
He wasn't guarding Jimmy Butler. And even Gabe Vincent was giving him buckets.
The Celtics were one of the best defenses all year. He's a good defender.
No, he's mentally fragile. He's a beta. He's a front runner. He has no grit. He's got no grind.
That's the whole Celtics team.
He went to Cal. He doesn't know ball.
That's the whole Celtics team, though.
8 turnovers.
I'm saying, but we're not taking one game and we're just making a whole assumption about him.
Gabrielle says, is Marcus Smart a bad defender? Also another overrated defender. He is, and you cannot even deny that. Gabe Vincent was cooking Marcus Smart.
But that doesn't mean he's not a good defender. He's still a good defender. Maybe not great. I'm not saying JB is great, but he's definitely a good defender.
Great. He's definitely not great.
He can score at all 3 levels when he's – I know you're going to pull up some –
First 2 series, he shot like 25% from mid-range. And then against the freaking Heat, he was 16% from 3.
He did not play good. I'm not arguing that. But if you don't think he can be a 2 on a title team.
I don't. If you can't win next to Jokic as the 2, you can't win. You can't be a number 2. Like, seriously, what number 1 would he have to have?
I think Luka and a good roster around him.
No.
I don't know, man. But this is a good point, too, from Borelli. Because he has no handle. Like, I agree with that.
Good. Let's bring a shooting guard to the team that can't dribble.
Who, the Knicks?
Yeah.
Well, they have a primary ball. Like, Brunson will be able to get him solid looks, good shots. Like,
yeah, Borelli, he's got to do something because he had 8 turnovers in a Game 7. The most ever in a Game 7 where you also missed 8 3-pointers. He couldn't shoot. He couldn't dribble. He couldn't pass. He couldn't guard.
He had more.
Don't let him get 1, though. Don't let him get 1.
Stop. I am not defending the Celtics right now. This is not what it's turning into. He had more turnovers than assists. More shot attempts than points. Like, he did not have a good series by any means, but I still think he could be a 2.
He was a 3 and they sucked. When they had Kyrie, he couldn't even be the 3 then.
He was 20 years old.
Hey, man, I'm just saying. What have you done for me lately? Y'all can talk about last year all you want. I am not touching Jaylen Brown. And the fact that he's going to be making $300 million? 300? Hell no. Hell no. He'd be the worst number 2. He's not a 2, dude. He's not a 2.
So RJ Jaylen Brown.
When you factor in age and contract, I'm taking RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett is 22. Jaylen Brown is 26. RJ Barrett makes $100 million. Jaylen Brown makes $300 million. What is there to decide from? Jaylen Brown against the Miami Heat averaged 19 points and shot less than 45% from the field and 16% from 3. You know what RJ Barrett did against that same Miami Heat team?
Yeah, we could talk about a closeout game.
They both were bad in closeout games. The thing is,
bad.
one was 22, one is 26. One guy's played in the finals, one guy hasn't.
Listen, Jaylen Brown, that was his worst game of his career last night. Like, that was his worst game of his career.
Now I know 100% I'm right because you have Sherwin on your side who said Jaylen Brown is the most complete shooting guard in the NBA. Sherwin also said that Julius Randle was the second best power forward in the NBA. So I'm glad Sherwin's on your side. That makes me feel so much more confident. Sherwin, bro, you gotta update your takes, my man. If you're calling Jaylen Brown the most complete 2-guard, have you heard of Klay Thompson? Come on, man. There's so many better 2 guards than Jaylen Brown.
But he is a complete player. He's just gonna keep on getting better at it.
Is he?
What?
He got worse from last year.
What does he not do well? Besides handling the ball. Obviously, that's his biggest weakness here.
Does he make anyone on his team better? Does he?
Does he make anybody on his... Yes, he makes his teammates better. He's
Who?
a second-team All-NBA player.
So was Randall. Julius
All right.
Randle and Jaylen Brown are the same player.
No, they're not.
They are.
Thank you.
They're the same player. You're right. Julius Randle actually had better stats against the Heat than Jaylen Brown did. Oh, wait. Did you forget about that too?
No, we haven't. We can
Did
show
Julius
him it right
Randle
now.
shoot
We can show him it.
16% from 3 against the Miami Heat?
Stop the cap.
16%. Helen Keller could do better.
That's just going to hit your other eye.
You listen.
If you think Jaylen Brown is a number 2, you don't know ball.
He can be a number 2 on a championship
He's
team.
not.
Yes, he is. I'm telling you.
Hooper?
Jaylen
All right.
Brown is not a number 2. He's
Well,
not.
He is. I mean, he is. He is. And I don't like this. Everybody in the chat, Marsh is comparing Jaylen Brown to Julius Randle.
Let's put the stats up on
All right,
screen.
we can do it right now.
Let's put stats up on screen
Let's
since
do it.
everyone thinks I'm smoking rocks.
Let's do it.
I'm no numbers
This is
guy.
one series.
I'm no numbers guy, Seeps here. But who had the better series? I'm no numbers guy.
They were both terrible.
I wouldn't say Randall was all that bad. 41%, 8, 19, and 10.
The man averaged 4 turnovers a game on 40 and 30 splits.
So did Brown. It's
And
worse.
He was bad. I'm not
It's worse.
saying he was
Toby
good.
Mack says Jaylen Brown's a number 1. He couldn't be a number 1 for the Shanghai Sharks. Where did Jaylen Brown play better than Julius Randle? Where?
This is one
And this is to
series.
say that Julius
This is
Randle,
5 games, too,
Julius
for Julius.
Randle's playing with a high ankle sprain. Jaylen Brown's just playing with a broken jump shot. See, 16% from 3.
I understand he had one bad, but he's still a number 2.
No, he's not. I think that's been proven. They haven't won a championship with him.
Is there number 1? A no doubt number 1 though.
I think it's the closest thing you're going to get to a number 1.
No, listen. Maybe. Now, I don't like supporting Jaylen Brown right now, but
All I'm saying is, I saw this man get guarded by Duncan Robinson and not demand the basketball.
and that pissed me off.
He's a beta.
Yeah, what's the season number?
He's a
Wes?
beta.
No, season numbers. JB only averaged 26.5 on 5 and 5. Like that's number 2 numbers in the NBA.
So what about Randall's regular season numbers? If we're talking reg season
But
numbers.
the thing is, Randall's been terrible in every single playoff series he has played in.
He was only in one playoff series before this year.
And he was terrible
And
this
his
year.
number 2 was Reggie Bullock. And a washed up D Rose that had to come off the bench. They're both bad.
They're both
bad.
They're both bad.
But there's not a world where Jaylen Brown is miles better than Julius Randle. Because he's not.
But he's better. Like he contributes more to winning than Randall.
At best, Jaylen Brown is the 2C. He's not even a 2A or a 2B. He's a 2C. You had the best coach in the NBA last.
You can be 2 wins away from a championship. 2 wins away from a championship.
It was a weak-ass Eastern Conference last year.
Oh, he went through KD, Giannis, Embiid.
Oh, they swept KD, and
Or
they
Jimmy
dismantled
Butler.
that team. Real good. And
Yeah,
Jimmy
they
Butler.
swept them.
That's all they got. They didn't have Caleb Martin last year. Not this Caleb Martin.
No, but still a 2. Still a 2.
There is not a single player that you could have a 1 be somebody and Jaylen Brown be a 2 and win a title. There's not one. I'll wait for you to name a guy.
I said Luka, Giannis.
Luka can't even make the playoffs. You're telling me if I put Jaylen
Who is-
Brown on that team, they're winning a finals?
If you put a good roster around them, they could 100% win the finals.
It's okay, man.
All right, man.
Look, they needed a 2 like Jalen Brunson. That's the type of 2 they needed to go to the conference finals.
All right, right now, ask the chat. Boston sends you over RJ Barrett for Jaylen Brown straight up. Somehow the money will work. Somehow the money will
That's such
work.
a big, important part.
I'm just saying, like Jaylen Brown could be a number 2.
I think you answered. You said he couldn't even win with Jokic.
This year, if you give them a whole offseason to prepare, like they could win as him as a 2.
Oh, my God. Give me Chris Middleton over Jaylen Brown. Chris Middleton is an elite two-way player.
But like what you're saying with JB, keep the same energy with Chris Middleton.
He's won, though, as a 2.
Yes, he has.
Has Jaylen Brown?
Has he had Giannis on his team, or has he been dealing with Jayson Tatum?
The guy that put 50 on the Bucks in Game 7.
Yeah, Jayson Tatum, the one dude who averaged 21 a game in the finals last year.
Yeah, Brown was so much better, averaging 23.
Yeah, I mean, Jayson Tatum broke the record for the most turnovers in the finals last year.
And so did Jaylen Brown. He had 8 turnovers in Game 7.
All right, we got.
It's not, Jaylen Brown is not a number 2. I'm sorry. If I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong.
He just is.
When he wins a title as the second best player, you can say I'm wrong.
Also, that Bucks 3, their 3 is Drew Holiday, who borderline could be a 2 on a championship team.
It's unbelievable. Kids these days, they got to watch more ball. It's honestly
You
embarrassing.
get disrespectful now?
It's embarrassing.
Middleton elite?
Is he not?
Who'd you rather have on the Knicks next year, Brown or Middleton?
I don't know. Chris Middleton averaged 24, 6, and 6 in the NBA Finals.
And he was good.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
And what, Jaylen Brown was 23, 7, and 5?
In and out.
Because of his number 1. Was his number 1 going for 34 and 15 in
Who
that?
closes out the games for the Bucks? I could argue that Chris Middleton was just as much as a 1 as Giannis was in that Finals. Who averaged more fourth quarter points?
I don't know. Probably Middleton?
No, it is. It is. Look.
Giannis had a 50-point closeout game in Game 6.
And he had 48 of them in the first 40 minutes of the game.
Because they blew him out.
No, because he can't score.
Dude.
Man. All the Randall believers being on your side just doubles down that I'm right.
There's no Randall believers on my side.
Sherwin just said that Jaylen Brown was the best and most complete 2-guard. And in last week's video, he said Julius Randle was the second best power forward in the league.
I am not listening to Sherwin right now. Yeah, Middleton got swept this year by the team.
So did Giannis.
He got swept.
And he's hurt. And Giannis got swept too.
Pull up his numbers against the Heat this year. What was Middleton doing?
Oh, my gosh. Fabian knows ball. Middleton was the closer for that team the same way Jalen Brunson is. Agreed. Who has ever called Jaylen Brown a closer? Nobody. He ain't a 2. He's your prototypical 2K created player, 6'7", 6'8", pretty good at everything.
You're describing Jaylen Brown as well.
That's what I just said.
Middleton Brown, same.
Middleton is such a better shot creator and taker than Jaylen
He's
Brown.
also 30. Brown can develop.
And he's a better defender. He is. He is.
I don't think that's they're probably the same defensively. I don't think you could say Middleton's a better defender than Jaylen Brown.
Look, $300 million. Not worth it.
I'm not paying it. I'm with you.
So then how is he a 2? If you're not giving him a max deal, how is he a 2?
Because the contracts
Your
are
first
out of
2
hand.
players have to be on max deals.
You probably got to give it to him then. You probably got to give it to him. Like, you probably got to give it to him.
Winning.
Like, you probably have to. 15.1 points per game in the playoffs.
And he was hurt. And Jaylen Brown just averaged 18.
What do you think about what Dadpool just said? I think Brunson would take him to another level. I think Brunson would be better for him than Tatum is for him. Having a true point guard. Saw what Brunson did with Bridges in college.
But Bridges has done it without Brunson.
So who would you rather have, Bridges or Jaylen Brown?
Bridges.
All right, I would too.
It's not even close. And Bridges is a 2. He's not a 1.
But when has he proven he was ever close to being a 2?
When he got to the finals as a third best player.
Third best player.
He was. Was he not?
It's him or Ayton, but we can go back and forth there. I'm just saying.
Ayton. Hell no. Hell no. Black Justice, let me know what he averaged against the Heat. Let me know what he averaged against the Heat. Those stats versus
You're
the Hawks.
ridiculous,
The stats versus the Hawks are cool, though, man. Congrats on those big buckets versus the Atlanta Hawks.
What about the Philly series?
Dude, it was a tough Hawks team. They went to 6 games. That same Hawks team that fucking had to go to the play-in. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Don't even get him started on that.
Money even, Jaylen Brown. RJ Barrett, $100 million. Jaylen Brown, $300 million. RJ Barrett, it's not even close.
The Knicks wouldn't
One's
give him
26,
300
one's
though.
22. 300. You're paying Jaylen Brown $300 million.
If I'm the Celtics, you kind of have to.
And you'll never win again, just like the Celtics have one
You'll never
NBA
win
title. You know the
They
Celtics are
have
the most.
lived in the Eastern Conference Finals the last 5 years.
How many titles they got from that?
They're still babies. When was the first time LeBron
Babies. Oh my.
They're
You were
26
you were
still.
one of those guys that did the Jayson Tatum still only 20. That was you.
He's young.
I may search your old tweets. You probably tweeted that out. Jaylen Brown is a beta.
He is a beta, but you can be a beta and be a 2 on a
No,
championship
your number
team.
2 has to be an alpha. Your number name one number 2 that was a beta that won a chip. Name them. We'll wait. Name name it in the comments. I'll wait. Give me one beta.
Really?
Who? I'm waiting.
Anthony Davis. Good, CPJ.
I don't know.
Scotty. Scotty's a beta.
So we're talking about guys that were number 2 to the first and second best player of all time.
Well, I mean, you're talking about Middleton with Giannis.
If you're not okay, I'll rephrase.
And I'm not comparing Giannis to Jordan or LeBron.
I will rephrase. Your number 2 can be a beta if they're the first or second best player of all time.
Okay, so Mark.
I'll admit when I'm wrong. I'm wrong about that one.
What about Powell? There's another
Pau
one.
Gasol. Don't even. You were just slurping off Pau Gasol
You
3
don't even
weeks
think he's
ago.
a top 100 player
Pau
of all
Gasol
time.
is not. Okay, sorry. So if you're either Kobe, Michael, or LeBron, your number 2 can be
Those
a
are
beta.
most of the championships the last 25 years, so that's probably about
Klay
what's that,
Thompson
about
is not a beta. That's
15
a
of
terrible
them?
take. That's a terrible take. That's a terrible take. Klay's a beta? You guys don't know ball if you think that. CPJ, you don't believe that. Game 6 Klay is a beta?
he's not a beta.
He's not a beta, dude. Yeah. Come on. Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
This is a good debate though. Like this is
It's not a debate, though.
if Jaylen Brown being a 2 on a championship team, it is
What number 1?
When you're 2 wins away from it last year, when your number 1 goes for 21 a game, it is 100% a debate.
I don't think so, man.
Siakam with Kawhi.
The number 2 on that team was not Siakam. Don't be dumb. It was Fred VanVleet.
Fred VanVleet.
And he is not a beta. Got it out the mud, VanVleet is a beta?
No, I love
Undrafted
Fred
VanVleet's a beta?
Don't turn me against my boy Fred.
Because he's not a beta.
Yeah, you're taking Brown over Siakam.
Yeah, barely.
Yeah.
Barely.
And Siakam can be a 2.
No, he cannot. Siakam is not a 2 on a championship contender. What
He
team?
already has 1 being a 2.
VanVleet was the 2. How much do I have to fucking say
He
it?
had a better final series. Get in
Oh
here.
my gosh.
Am I wrong, or Siakam literally was a 2 on the championship?
Was it not
That's what I'm
Fred
saying.
VanVleet?
I don't think so.
You sure?
Pretty
Pull-
sure.
pull- pull-
VanVleet
pull up
had
the
a great
numbers.
playoffs.
Let's
Was
see.
he the number 2 that whole year? No.
Who is the 2 on the Raptors championship team? Let us know in the chat. Siakam or VanVleet?
Siakam's not a beta either. I wouldn't call Siakam a beta.
I mean,
He doesn't have beta energy.
do you think Tatum's an alpha?
He's got some beta tendencies. Tatum has beta tendencies.
LeBron had beta tendencies for a little bit in his career.
Johnson used right. Patrick McCaw was the number 2 on the Raptors.
That's a good point.
He won like 3 rings in a row, man.
3-time champ. Yeah, CPJ's even telling you.
How is Siakam a beta?
I'm not. Well, okay. Well, because we're looking like
Brown is a beta. Rodrigo knows.
But you can be a beta and be a 2.
No.
Beta, Robin the Batman, beta the alpha. Like,
I'm not trading for Jaylen Brown.
we know you're not.
I'm not trading for Jaylen Brown. Why would I pay $300 million for someone that can't play in the conference finals?
Hold on. What finals was that? What did Mr. Siakam average?
I have pulled up. 19.
What was Fred? 15?
15.
15?
Yeah. So about the same. They were both. I'd give them 2A, 2Bs in that series.
Okay.
2A, 2Bs.
And you think
Fred VanVleet also shot 40% from 3.
He was great.
Look.
That throughout that whole run, though, Siakam was no doubt the number 2. Yes, he was.
I don't know. I don't know
how Ben Simmons got brought up in the chat. Yeah, what's your definition of a beta?
Someone that has beta tendencies, like hangs out in the corner and watches the game go by and doesn't do anything. Doesn't show up when the brights are lightest, are brightest. Gets denied by Duncan Robinson and doesn't demand the ball. Doesn't go take over. That's not Jaylen Brown. It's just not.
I mean, like, Clay's a dog. Clay's got that alpha, but, like, that's sometimes what he would do. Because he had his alpha, because he had his Curry with him.
And he was a 3. Clay was a 3 on those teams where they won 2 in a row with KD.
But the ones without, he was a 2.
You think a beta is winning a number 2 last year on the Warriors? Hell no. And you could even argue that Wiggins was the number 2 last year. Look, man.
It's a debate.
Look, if you're trading for Jaylen Brown, just remember, it was these same motherfuckers in the comment section that told me Jalen Brunson was overpaid last year. You guys will learn one day that I know ball.
You want to do this Brown cut before the other one?
Yeah, we could do that if you can. Wiggins might be a beta.
Yeah.
But like I said, your number 2 could only be a beta if your number 1 is the top 10 player of all time. And that's what Curry is. That's what LeBron is. That's what Kobe is. That's what Michael Jordan is. And honestly, prime Kawhi is top 10 talent.
But, like, you look at the last 25 championships, probably 20 of those are from top 20 or top 10 players of all time.
And that's my point. I don't think we have any of those guys right now in the league that he could be a beta for.
I mean, I still think Giannis. Like, I still think you put him next to Giannis, they can go win.
I don't know. They just got swept by the Heat, so. Yeah, with Giannis.
Yeah, with your boy Middleton, too.
He was hurt.
Middleton? JB was hurt this whole playoffs, too.
What was Jaylen Brown's injury?
He was nicked up.
What?
Let me look it up.
There's no injury for Jaylen Brown. He was never even on the injury report.
Something will come out.
Giannis would be the best number 2 in NBA history for Jalen Brunson. I agree.
Yeah, we know that.
I agree.
Look, it's 2 days ago. Jaylen Brown, I won't let my injuries be an excuse during the playoffs.
That's such a beta comment. That is such a
How
beta
is that
comment.
a beta comment?
If you're talking to the media about, you know what Jalen...
Somebody asked him about it.
You know what happens when Jalen Brunson gets asked if he's injured? I'm not injured.
Yeah, I like that way more.
Alpha.
CPJ, the argument is, can Jaylen Brown be a number 2 option on a team that wins the championship?
And the answer is no.
The answer is
on screen.
Yes.
It's on screen.
Just type the Y's.
Jaylen Brown is not a 2. He's not.
Yes, he can be a 2.
Sure, if he's playing next to LeBron or Kobe or Steph or Michael.
Good point. De Niro, mash Jaylen Brown. That's his alpha side. Maybe that's his alter ego he needs to tap into.
Betas don't get their faces broken. We got a Q&A coming up later in the show. Go ahead and get your questions in. Use hashtag Knicks or Super Chat. All questions, we'll try to get them in. We got one mailbag on today's show. Super chats are guaranteed to get on the show. Get your questions in. Just comment down below. We'll pop it up on screen. Toby, Brunson would absolutely be the number one if his teammate was Giannis.
Oh, yeah.
Who's closing? Who's taking the final shot, Giannis or Brunson? And I'm serious about that. If they're on a team, who's taking the final shot? So then how is he not the number one?
Marsh, I'm with you on this.
Think Scottie Pippen's taking the final shot? No, because he's number 2.
What about Middleton? Middleton's taking the number 1 shot.
And that's why he was 2. Giannis is just better. Brunson's better. Toby, it's okay, man. It's okay. EJ's right.
That's a good point, EJ.
EJ knows ball.
That's why Giannis is a Knick.
Oh, my lordy.
We just spent the first 30 minutes of this.
Jaylen Brown is such a beta, guys. It's embarrassing for you. If you think Jaylen Brown is a number 2.
I'll make this the pin poll. We'll close it on here. We'll close the debate with the pin poll.
LeBron's got beta tendencies. LeBron 100% has beta tendencies. Will, thank you for coming to the class. Hope you're bringing your notes, my man. Will knows ball.
All right, vote in the poll. Vote in the poll. Is Jaylen Brown a number 2 on a title team?
At best, he's a 2B. You need someone equally as good as him.
Like at that 2-3 spot?
Yeah, at best.
Pretty much had somebody damn near as good as him for the 1 spot last year in the finals, but.
Yeah, that's what I said. Tatum's a 1B.
So then how is Brown a 2C?
Because they needed someone better than Brown to win it. The proof's in the pudding.
Brown played well in the finals last year. Hit 34 in the closeout. And what did JT do?
What was the final score of that closeout game?
He wild away. They lost.
By a good bit, right?
Yeah, because their number 1 didn't show
so
up.
he had garbage time points.
He did not have garbage time points.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
Jaylen Brown is a beta. And the fact that the YouTube commenters are agreeing with you means I'm right. Because y'all don't know ball.
Oh, my God. You guys, don't let Marsh disrespect you in the chat like that.
All you fuckers were big Cam Reddish fans, too. Don't forget that. Don't forget that.
Are you still pushing this Giannis would be a number 2?
No.
Well, no, I don't have to push that because that's just the truth. But what we're talking about in today's show is how Jaylen Brown cannot be the number 2 on an NBA title.
He's a number 3.
He's a number 3.
No, he's not.
He is. He doesn't make anyone better. He's not an elite defender, and he shrinks in Game 7s in the conference finals.
We are taking 1 series out of
the second biggest series of his life.
What about last year?
What about last year? That was last year.
You keep skipping over the finals.
I think it depends. It depends on the team construction. I think he could be a 2.
Who's his number 1?
You put him next to Luka, and you have a good.
I already asked him if he could replace Murray, and he said no.
Next to Luka, he'd be pretty fucking nice.
If you added Jaylen Brown to the currently constructed Mavs, they are not winning the finals.
Because I don't think you could add almost
any
player.
wouldn't even be the 2. It'd be Kyrie.
You couldn't even add.
It'd be Kyrie. It'd be the 3.
Well, then they might be able to win according to you.
If Jaylen Brown was on the team that went to the conference finals last year, I think they could have maybe beat the Warriors.
He would have been the 3. Agreed. Jalen Brunson was the 2.
Oh, stop.
Oh yeah, just 42 points on the road to save your season before you got swept by the Jazz.
Luka was hurt.
That's my point. Jaylen Brown ain't scoring 42 without Tatum in a playoff.
I mean, shit, he had 34 pretty much without Tatum in Game 6 last year without him showing up.
He was on the floor.
Dude,
he didn't play.
Last year. Just my take. I don't think Jaylen Brown is a 2.
Maybe if he had a 1 next to him.
At best, he's a 2B. He's a 2B.
Maybe if he had a 1 next to him that didn't take games off.
Giannis would be the 2 in New York?
Yes, Brunson would be the 1.
Brunson would be the 1.
Brunson would be the 1.
I know y'all are.
Giannis would be the 1 for 36 minutes, and the final 12 minutes when it's time to win, it's Brunson.
No, here's how I put it. Giannis is the 1, but Brunson's the closer.
Yeah.
Your 2
Giannis
can be a closer.
Giannis is 1B.
Your 2 can be a closer.
Jaylen Brown ain't no closer.
I'm not saying he is. I'm talking. That's a.
Jaylen Brown's a 3.
He's an unreal 3. He's a good-ish.
If he's your 2,
that would be the greatest team of all time. If you could put together a team that had Jaylen Brown as a 3, that's the greatest team of all time.
They did. Kyrie and Tatum were the 1 and 2s, and they lost.
Kyrie
That's like Gordon Hayward,
Kyrie broke that franchise, dude.
Talking Kyrie and Tatum as the 1-2 ahead of Brown.
I mean, on paper, yes, but Kyrie.
What? What do you mean? Tatum just came out. Kyrie just came off from banging a Game 7
Brown and
buzzer
Tatum
beater.
were fresh out the womb still
Yeah,
during
to
that
be
time.
Oh, they are young.
fair-
Forever young. Forever young.
Brown was not. He was not Jaylen Brown.
What's that song, Forever Young? That should be the fucking theme song for the Boston Celtics.
Jeez.
Yeah, it should be the Boston Celtics theme song, because every time they lose, they're still young. They're still young. He's 27 before the season starts next year. I wouldn't call that
We're
young.
talking now. We're saying when Kyrie was there.
He just said it. He's still young.
He's 26.
He's already peaked. He's already on the decline. He didn't play. He went to Cal. They don't teach fucking basketball there.
You want to talk some? Should we
Yeah.
talk some Seth?
Number 2 that cost $300 million, Jaylen Brown. Fuck out of here. Johnson used 100% right. Jayson Tatum's still only 19 years old. He just keeps getting excuses.
Johnson, that was.
I will tell you that Seeps, and I think you will agree with this.
Okay.
All these commenters right now slurping off Jason, whatever his name is, Jaylen Brown. If Julius Randle did what he did in Game 7 of the conference finals, would they be acting the same way? No.
No, nobody's saying JB played good.
They are.
Who is?
They're saying he is.
They're just saying he could be a number 2. They're agreeing with me.
He's just not. Who is the number 1? Who?
Clearly can't be Tatum
Yeah,
because he's not a number 1.
he's not. Look, man, I just see it in Jaylen Brown's eyes. He's not a winner. He's not an alpha. He doesn't do anything to make his teammates better.
He's a little. I'm not the biggest fan of him either. But
He can't dribble. He can't pass. He's a sketchy outside shooter. He's flaky from the mid-range, as we saw in the first 2 playoff series. Name 2 things Jaylen Brown is great at. Because if you're number 2, you got to be great at some things. What is he great
See,
at?
but his game is more of like a Swiss Army knife type of game.
That's a number 3. That's a good
Like
3.
he's good at everything.
That's a good 3.
If you call Middleton a 2 and you don't call
If
Brown
you
a 2,
replace Dwayne Wade with Jaylen Brown, do they win any NBA Finals on those Heat teams?
Dwayne Wade with Jaylen Brown,
Yeah.
100%.
Which one?
The second one for sure, they're winning a championship with
Against the Thunder?
No, the Spurs one. When Dwayne Wade averaged about, what is it, like 17 a game?
That sounds like Jaylen Brown. 18 points per game against the Miami Heat
In the
without
worst
LeBron.
series of his career. This was the worst series of his career.
Yeah, what a time for it to come.
I know, not good. LeBron's worst series came in the finals.
Liam's right. D. Wade was the number 1 on that team. Anyways. Dude, come on. He is not a 2.
Dude, he can be a 2.
You can use the rest of his career to find out.
You
I'll
can-
let you know.
Oh,
He
I
ain't.
can't wait. Trade him.
Are Dame and Jaylen
trade
Brown
him
winning
to
a
Dallas.
championship?
Huh?
Are Dame and Jaylen Brown winning a championship?
Dame's not a 1. You think Dame can be a 1 on a championship team?
Over Jaylen Brown? Hell yes. He got to the Western Conference Finals by himself
And got swept.
because he had no one.
He had CJ.
CJ
He had
McCollum.
CJ.
It's a joke.
You taking drugs today?
I'm 100% right.
I just disagree with you.
What team right now that is currently constructed can Jaylen Brown be a number 2 and
If
win?
you put Luka next to Jaylen Brown, fix the rest of the roster. The way it's constructed right now, no. You got to get some better pieces. But I also don't think you could put
They couldn't
a
even make the
championship team.
playoffs without Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown's better than Brunson.
That's just not true.
It is.
It's not.
No, it's not.
It is.
It's very sad that you think that. All right, we're going to get started on today's show.
Yeah, we kind of have to.
If you think Jaylen Brown's better than Jalen Brunson, you don't know ball.
We're not talking. We're not going to bring that up.
You might
We're
be
not
the
gonna
same
take-
guy
we're not
that
gonna
said
bring
we
that
don't
up.
need
Hey,
Jalen
Rolly.
Brunson when he leaves.
Can Jaylen Brown be a 2 on a championship team? We have spent the first 40 minutes of Knicks.
There's no argument here because there's a right answer and there's a wrong
What was
answer.
the question?
Is Jaylen Brown a 2 on a title team?
I say no.
No.
It's incredible.
What is he great at?
Yeah, I say yes.
I think he's a glorified Zach.
Dude, he would be a great 3.
Yeah.
If he's a 2, you're a contender in your conference. If you're a 3, you're a finals contender.
To me, he's the exact same tier as Bam. It's like,
Oh, I'm taking Bam over Jaylen Brown
Is
all
it
day. If I had to
taking
choose as my
Bam
3, I
over
would take Bam.
oh, as your 3, Bam would be the best 3 in the league because how good he is defensively.
Bam's
As
a
a
better
2?
ball handler. He's a better playmaker. He's a better defender. He's a better finisher around the rim. The only thing
Have you
Jaylen-
watched Bam the last 4 games of this series?
Did you watch him the prior 15?
He also didn't show up in the first round against Milwaukee for the most part.
Yeah, they only beat him in 5.
And then
It's because of Jaylen.
Bam
or
was
Jay
bad the
Butler.
first 4 games in that series, but Bam did have a 20-point closeout game.
Yeah, he was
Triple-double in that 5.
Steve must not been watching then.
Yeah, I was watching also the 5 other playoff series Jaylen Brown played in before this one.
Well, he's only played in 3 in the
But that's
playoffs.
what I mean. They're the same player to me. It's like, if you're number 2, you can be at the top of your conference.
Your number 2 can't be a beta, and Jaylen Brown's a beta. And the only reason you could be a 2 if you're a beta, your beta can be a 2, is if you have LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, or Michael Jordan or Steph
Or
Curry.
Kawhi Leonard or...
Oh, yeah, prime Kawhi too, yes. And I'm not even calling
And
Siakam
those are
a beta.
20 of the past 25
Well, I'll
championships
say,
came from those 4
if
guys.
you include that Raptors team, I feel like that team is you can't use them because their team was so fucking good.
That's what I said. Siakam and Van Fleet were both their 2s.
They didn't have a 2. They just had a shit ton of 3s.
Yep.
They
yep,
had it too.
Yep.
They had like 5 3s on that team.
Marcus Gasol was also great.
Exactly. Gasol was good. Lowry was good. Van Fleet was good.
And
was
Siakam's
good.
not a beta either. Siakam got it out the mud. Jaylen Brown, some McDonald's All-Americans. You know how he's a beta? He was a McDonald's All-American and went to fucking Cal. He's a loser.
I don't want to support him, but like he is a 2 on a championship team.
What tells you that?
Yeah, what?
Oh, I don't know. Last year in the NBA Finals, he was the leading scorer on his team, and if his number 1 showed up,
Did they win that series?
No, you know why?
Okay.
Because the number 1 on his team set the record for most turnovers in the finals.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's just because Mr. Wiggins locked them.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown showed up. He had 34 in the closeout last year in the finals.
Toby Mack says you must have lost money. Actually, I won money, so I actually bet on the Heat because I know ball, so maybe you should listen up. Johnson, you back again with another $10 super chat. Seems like all trades have downsides. Browns, high turnovers, not being a number 2 or an alpha or $300 million. Cat's huge contract and being injury prone. Is it even worth it to get a superstar or use the picks in multiple small trades? There is no perfect player out there. There's no perfect player out there. So you could nitpick everybody. Steph Curry's too small. He doesn't defend. Kevin Durant gets hurt. Like you can say that about every single player. The Knicks need to go make a move and upgrade the talent in the starting lineup if they want to be a legit title contender. So yeah, I do think that the trade is worth it. Because I'll tell you this much. You use all those picks, what are the chances any of them are superstar players? Very, very small. Cash in the chips while they have a lot of value, in my opinion. Scrappy with a $5 super chat. Ron Daddy Baker, greater than Jaylen Butterfingers Brown.
I like the nickname. Do you think Beal's a 2?
Beal's a 3. Beal's a 3.
I think Beal could be a 2.
Nah. Beal's a 3.
I think
Dude,
Beal
your
could be a
number 2 almost has to be a Hall of Fame player to win a championship. And that's not Jaylen Brown. He probably will make it because the NBA Hall of Fame is like AIDS in Vegas. Just everyone gets it. Everyone gets in. But like your number 2 almost has to be a Hall of Fame.
I mean, but then again, like if I don't even know. This is something we're not going to find the answer to until it happens, or until it doesn't happen in his career.
There's no need to wait. It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen.
All right, we got to get through some cuts.
All right.
So,
All righty. Let's talk about a player that the New York Knicks have been linked to in NBA free agency. Should the New York Knicks go out and sign Seth Curry in NBA free agency? Let's talk about it because Bleacher Report listed Curry, as in Seth Curry, as the one ambitious free agent target for the New York Knicks. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, because if the Knicks go out and make any moves this offseason, we are going to be putting out a video. When the Knicks make a move, we make a video. Videos every single day on the latest Knicks news and rumors. So if you're looking for nonstop content this offseason, go down right now and hit that big red button. The reason that I do like and understand why Bleacher Report thinks that Seth Curry would be a great fit with the New York Knicks is pretty simple, because the Knicks have to become a better three-point shooting team. They have to be better than they were from the outside, not only in the regular season, but also in the playoffs. And when you look at these numbers, that was the Achilles heel for the New York Knicks, no doubt about it. I mean, in the regular season, it's what held them back as well. The Knicks shot just 34.7% to be precise in the regular season from downtown, which was 24th in the NBA. Also in the playoffs, they were the worst three-point shooting team, knocking down their threes at just a 29.6% clip. Only 16 teams make the playoffs, which means the Knicks were the worst from long range. And there's no doubt that Seth Curry, I wish it was Steph Curry, Seth Curry is a good fit for the New York Knicks. Knicks need shooting. Curry is a shooter. But I wouldn't say that Curry would be a great fit for the New York Knicks. And Bleacher Report kind of pointed out why that might be the case, and we'll talk about it as well. They said that Curry has his defensive limitations and isn't going to do much facilitating, but he's a 5-alarm fire off the ball, exactly the kind of attention grabber New York's offense needs to unclog the lane and capitalize on kickouts when Mitchell Robinson inhales offensive boards. And I agree. I would love for Mitchell Robinson to be kicking out to Seth Curry on open threes. But the question that I have to ask myself is Seth Curry a Tom Thibodeau guy? Because I think that absolutely matters. The Knicks, they went out and traded a first-round pick for Cam Reddish. Reddish wasn't a Tom Thibodeau guy. Reddish did not play, and Reddish was traded less than 12 months later. Evan Fournier was signed by the New York Knicks, and 2 years into his tenure, he was out of the rotation. Tom Thibodeau wants guys that aren't going to be defensive liabilities on the floor, and even though, and on top of that, you already have Jaylen Brunson, who I wouldn't say is a liability, but he's not a good defender. He's a willing defender. He can cause some turnovers, play the passing lanes, and put his body on the line. One of the league leaders in charges taken. But can you afford to play Jaylen Brunson alongside another defensive liability? The reason that the Knicks could be targeting, or what sounds like are targeting, Seth Curry in NBA free agency is two reasons. One, he's repped by CAA, Leon Rose's former agency, CAA Mafia. And if you join the Knicks since Rose has been here, you're probably repped by CAA. But also, the Knicks don't have any cap space, but they have two available exceptions. They have the non-taxpayer exception, which is $12.2 million, and then a biannual exception, which is $4.5. I think Curry would cost more than this, but less than this, and you can split these two up in different types of ways. Last year, Seth Curry made $8.5 million, and I believe that's right around how much he is going to be getting paid this upcoming summer. The Knicks can obviously, they can afford that with the non-taxpayer mid-level exception. So I want to ask you guys this question. Should the Knicks sign Seth Curry? Is Seth Curry a guy that you're interested in and think should be added by the Knicks and NBA free agency? Sound off for me down in the comment section. Type S for sign, type P for pass. I want to hear from you down below. We'll talk about some stats, playoff stats, and I'll give you my answer on Seth Curry coming up in a second. But I need you guys to listen up and pay attention. We are sponsored by Bird Dogs, and you guys need to get hooked up with them. Support the sponsor, support the channel. Go to birddogs.com and use the promo code chat, and they're going to hook you guys up with a free Yeti-style tumbler. The summer's here, the sun is out, and I am rocking Bird Dogs because, one, they keep you fresh, they keep you clean, they look good, they fit good, and they feel good. They are a new type of short, I would say, that has a built-in liner that feels like you're wearing gym shorts, but it looks like you're wearing really nice dress shorts. They're versatile. You can wear them to work. You can wear them to work out. You can wear them out on a date. You can wear them to Game 7, Boston versus the Heat, and watch Jaylen Brown absolutely fold. You can wear them anywhere. They are fit for every single occasion. Go to birddogs.com and use the promo code chat. Get hooked up with them. That link is clickable down in the comments and description of today's show. When you look at what Seth Curry has done in the NBA the past 4 seasons, it is obvious why the Knicks will be linked to him. He's one of the best sharpshooters from downtown. The guy shot 40+% from 3 in the past 4 seasons. And in 2019 and in 2020, he shot above 45% from downtown. He could come off the bench, give you a quick 15, 16 off the bench, knock in a couple of shots from downtown, and change the pace and the play of the game. And when you look at what he's done in the last 4 postseasons, that is what really intrigues me. He's played in almost 50 postseason games in his NBA career, and he has been great in those postseasons. The last 2 years with the Brooklyn Nets, he struggled a little bit this year. Only played in 3 games, kind of fell out of the rotation in Brooklyn, which really makes no sense. But in those last 3 postseasons, when you talk about 21, 20, and 2019, 47.5% from 3, 50.5% from 3, and 52% from 3. And he gave you almost 19 points per game in 2020 when he was a part of the Philadelphia 76ers. The Knicks need another creator, and they need another ball handler. And Curry, he meets some of those qualifications. I would consider him another ball handler, but I wouldn't consider him a guy that can control the game, slow the game down, take over the pulse of the match, and really take over as that creator and ball handler. I wouldn't really say that is what Seth Curry is. And the question and concern that I have is this just another potential Evan Fournier move where the Knicks overreacted to not having enough shooting in the NBA playoffs against the Atlanta Hawks, went out and gave Evan Fournier a 4-year, $72 million deal, and then 2 years into that tenure, he was collecting DNPs. I worry that the Knicks are going to go out and just sign just a shooter, and I'm not sure that's a guy that Tom Thibodeau wants. I would prefer a more balanced player, and I think Tom Thibodeau would agree with that. I would want a guy that doesn't want to be hunted on defense. A guy at the guard spot that can create, penetrate, and play make alongside catch and shoot trade balls. I do like that Seth Curry can be really effective off the ball, running off-ball screens and pin downs and spacing the floor. But I'm also worried about Brunson and Curry playing on the floor together. Like, that is not a good defensive backcourt. And it's worrisome. And I don't think you can win many playoff series if these guys are your go-to backcourt. And obviously, if you sign Curry, he wouldn't be your go-to backcourt. But you'd probably have to play Brunson and him together, and that is a little bit worrisome. But then I look back and say, you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. The Knicks, they need shooting. And Curry is one of the best on the market that is a shooter. So I'm not going to be mad if the Knicks go out and sign Seth Curry, and I'll probably be happy about it because he fits a need. I just wonder if he's a guy that's really, really going to be able to help this team go to another level. I'm not sure he is, but I am sure that the rest of this free agency class is absolutely terrible. James Harden and Kyrie Irving are the top 2 guys. And you got D'Angelo Russell, Fred VanVleet, Russell Westbrook, Karis LeVert, Gary Trent, Jordan Clarkson, Dante DiVincenzo, and Alec Burks. None of those guys are jumping off the screen that I want to go out and pay a whole lot of money. Thing is, if I had to choose any of these 2 guys and I'm factoring in the price point, it might actually be Dante DiVincenzo and Alec Burks. And I know people are going to probably be mad at that, but I'll give you a chance. Who do you want the Knicks to sign? Name a free agent you want the Knicks to sign this summer. Give me a name down below. Overall, this free agency class is cheeks. It's not good, and it might be one of the worst ever. And it doesn't really fit what the Knicks need. They need veterans, they need shooters, they need two-way players, and they need guys that can create their own shot. And the Knicks don't have that much cap space, but there's really not even cap space to spend because the top of the free agent market is not all that good, which leads me to believe that a trade is how the Knicks are going to upgrade this roster. That is how they've been developing this team. That's how they've been building this team. They have been, I would say, almost ball-hogging assets. They are doing everything they can to stockpile that asset pool, and I believe a trade is coming. I believe the Knicks are going to pull a trigger on a trade, and I'm not sure who it's going to be for at this time. But I do know this. I will keep you up to date over on my Twitter on the latest Knicks news and Knicks rumors. And you can give me a follow right here at @MarshallGreen_. Let's talk some ball over there. Thanks for tuning in. Woo!
Let us know, free agent you guys want the Knicks to sign. We also will have a Q&A coming up here in about 20 minutes or so. So any questions you guys got, free agency, Knicks trading up in the draft, whatever it may be. Let us know, hashtag Knicks, or you can just send in a super chat like Johnson, you, Borelli, and Scrappy have done so far.
Get your questions in. Hashtag Knicks or super chat.
You don't like Gary Trent too much?
I do, but I think he's going to be out of the Knicks price point.
Yeah,
I think he's getting paid way more than $12.2 million. I like Gary Trent, but I think he's going to get like 18, 20 million bucks.
He's one of those dudes where you hear the name Gary Trent, you're like, oh, he's probably, not too expensive or not too good, but he is.
He's going to get a lot of money.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. So I'm looking for this tweet real quick. Hold on.
Jason Tornado, should the Knicks sign D'Lo? I mean, I'll say absolutely not. I think Marsh would say the same.
So a couple of stats here for you. These are back at the All-Star break. So
Okay.
before 20 games left in the regular season. When you talk about raw on and off numbers, like I'm not exactly sure what stat that allocates, but I bet it's points on versus points off, probably just plus minus.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown was the second worst on the Boston Celtics this year at minus 6.3. His Raptor score.
It was minus 6.3.
Minus 6.3 at the All-Star break. His
Okay.
Raptor, which adds up a whole bunch of stuff, was just 0.3, which was 107th in the NBA. His LeBron score, which factors in a whole bunch of stuff, was 1.3, which was 60th in the NBA. His BPM was 60th in the NBA. His effective field goal percentage and true shooting percentage were 55% and 59%, which is right at the NBA average. He was 64th percentile in rebounds. He was 88th in assist percent and 77th in steals percent. What does he do great? You want to argue with raw numbers too, or y'all just want to go off cool dunks?
But I still think he could be a 2.
I don't. I don't think
listen,
he affects
you were
the game
saying,
enough.
there is no perfect player, obviously.
And I'm saying he's a 3. I'm not saying he's a scrub. I just don't think he does enough as a 2 to elevate the ceiling of a team.
But also, I just don't think we've also seen his but you don't think he's gonna learn from this? Like, you don't think this is gonna eat at him this entire offseason?
I question his love for the game. I do.
I get it. I mean, I would just bet on him learning from this rather than not. But then again, I thought JB and Tatum would learn from last year's finals and learn how to handle the basketball, and they just didn't. So.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see. I don't know, though.
I mean, hey, talk about it.
Jaylen Brown didn't play good because he was unhappy. Come on, Rich. Come on, Rich. He ain't messing with his bag because he's unhappy. Come on. He had $300 million on the line. I think he cares more about that. But hey, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Only one guy can be right. It's me, though. All righty. In today's show,
Oh, guess who we're going to talk about,
we're
guys?
talking about Jaylen Brown, baby.
Uh-huh.
We are talking about Jaylen Brown. First, hit that thumbs up icon.
Yeah.
We got 175 people watching, only 55 likes. Unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
Rookie numbers. Hit that thumbs up icon. Let's go.
CPJ, you're never going to believe what Marsh's take is going to be during this video.
I'm about to just build this social so you can just ligma real quick.
Put that piece in, man. That's a good point, Rich. Any gig, no matter what, you want out, it shows.
Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy.
Hey, think CPJ, I got a slight idea. Where would you like this in the show?
Give me 1 sec. I'm just building it real quick. Fit 1, 2.
EJ1 saying, can the media stop talking about Karl Anthony Towns like he's worth a big package? It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I agree. I mean, his contract's also ridiculous. Talk about bad contracts. Cat fits in that category.
Cat blows.
He blows. He can't be a 2. For sure that. Rich Rob saying he don't rock with Tatum. He wants new scenery. Could be the case. Could be the case, but I don't know if that affected him maybe as much as you would think. Yeah, easy pass on Karl Anthony
He is a
Towns.
beta, so maybe it did. Probably can't work through tough situations. Beta tendencies.
That can't be your argument.
What?
He's beta.
He is a beta.
But, like, you can be a beta and be a number 2.
Okay, what about shooting 16% from 3 in the conference finals? Is that not good enough stat for you?
What
about
about
all the
Tatum
stats
shooting-
I just gave you?
What about
What
Tatum
about all the
shooting-
stats I just gave you?
What about Tatum shooting 36% in the finals last year?
That's why I said he's also a beta.
But he can be a number 1?
I think he's a 1B. I think Tatum's a 1B.
Marsh, I saw you put out the tweet. Jaylen Brown or Randall?
Brown's probably a better player. But I think they're very similar. They're very turnover-prone players that I don't necessarily think raises the level of their teammates.
Jaylen Brown turns the ball over way too much.
How many times did he turn over last night?
8. Oh, who averaged more turnovers against the Heat?
Who did?
Julius Randle.
How many?
4.
How many did Brown average?
Like
No,
3.
wait, Brown averaged less than that. Dude was turning over like it was his job.
Come here. 3.6, 4.0.
I think you talking about how close it is proves my point that they're very similar.
Say that again.
They're the same player.
Marsh is in a Skip Bayless bag right now.
I don't think it's a hot take to say Jaylen Brown is not a number 2.
It's not a hot take. I said we can have a great debate. You're just wrong. That's all it is.
I don't
That's
think
what I'm just saying.
I don't think it is wrong. Have they won yet?
2 games away with Tatum being awful.
Seeps, you're a smart guy. You played sports growing up. There's a huge difference between winning and losing.
Okay. But I will say, if Tatum has a good series, they win.
But you know what a number 2 can do? Sometimes be that number 1 and take over a game.
So
And he didn't do. We did that in Game 6 last year, and Tatum didn't show up, and that's why they lost.
to me, hold on. Let me add something here. To be a good number 2, I think you have to be able to impact the game in a different way than scoring if your scoring isn't there. And I don't think Jaylen Brown can impact the game without scoring.
I think he's the most overrated defender in the NBA. Like, he's not a bad defender. People think he's an elite defender. He's not.
Like, the reason why I think Bam and Jimmy does work sometimes is Bam is the number 2. Is because even if Bam sucks offensively, which he has the past 4 games, he is a top 5 defender in the world and disrupts what the other team does.
But if you would put Brown next to a guy like Luka, their strengths and weaknesses match up perfectly. Perfectly.
I don't know. I think it's a bad example.
I think Brown and Luka could get it done. If they had a right kind of supporting cast around him, they could 100% win a championship.
Luka couldn't even make the playoffs without Jalen Brunson.
Because he didn't have Jaylen Brown. He had a wacky roster.
Yeah, I had Kyrie Irving. An actual number 2 NBA champion.
Do you think Brown and Brunson can get anything done?
I think you would need someone better than Brown.
So you do think swap to say Randall and Brown, you think same result?
I think they could have beat the Heat. I don't think they're winning a championship, though. I don't think they're beating that Nuggets team.
No.
Like, what if you just did a clean swap? Brown and Randall on the 2 teams. Which teams advance farther? Like, thought
It's not even close.
I think it's about the same.
Brown's been good in the playoffs. Randall never has.
Yeah, he wasn't good in this past series. Davidov with a
Davidov,
$20
thank
super
you.
chat. Davidov, you're a legend, my man. He's Jimmy's number 2 in there winning. Is Bam better than Brown? I think they're both in the same boat. I think they're true number 3s. But shit, Bam may win a championship as a number 2. Is Bam a number 2 to you?
I think he can't. Well, he's proven it right now. He can be a 2. I think there's a bigger list of 2s in the NBA than you think. Like, I honestly think Levine and Beal could be a 2 in the right spot.
Levine.
You don't think Levine and Beal could be a 2?
No, those are 3s.
Dude,
One-way players cannot be 2s.
3s are like Drew Holidays. Like,
Zach LaVine. To be a 2, you need to be a best player on a team and that team be good. And that is not LaVine. He has never been the best player on a team and that team been good.
They were good last year for a little bit.
And was he the best player? I think you could argue
Yes, he
DeRozan was up there.
DeRozan was nice.
And I think Lonzo was up there too. Check that social real quick. Davidov, we appreciate the $20 super chat, my man. I'm taking a shot at tequila for you. We're at $46 in super chats. If we get to 100, we're doing a beer shot fund race between me and Seeps. Does that fit?
Is that the last one?
It ends on.
You also moved my social plan.
I did. Fuck, my bad.
Yeah, I'll move back.
64th in rebound. Yep, that's it. My bad.
Okay, there you go.
Davidov with another $20 super chat. Davidov, I got a shot at tequila for you. I'll take 2, actually. F it. Yeah. Woo! I got one more for you, Davidov. One more. Whew. Davidov. Good to frickin' see you, Davidov. I've needed some Nick Davidov. I needed some Nick Davidov in my life. How's it hanging, brother? How's it hanging? What up, my man? Oh, let's go. Johnson, you with a $5 super chat. We are $29 away from a beer shot fun race between Seeps and my number 2 over there. That's a real 2. Seeps is a real 2. Jaylen Brown is not a 2. I can't believe. Oh, Davidov, I'm schooling all these young farts around here.
The thing is, I respect Marsh's ball knowledge, and you're just wrong on this one.
I don't think I am.
When the guy made it to Game 6
Look, if he went to Villanova, I would say he's a number 2. He's got Pac-12 BBIQ. That's loser shit. Johnson, we appreciate the super chat, my man. He says, I miss Knicks basketball. I do as well, Brody.
Me too.
I do as well. I miss watching the best point guard in the NBA, Jalen Brunson, play basketball. It's upsetting. But we'll be back. Hopefully not with Jaylen Brown, because we're not going to be very good if we get it. Davidov back again with a $20 super chat. Davidov. Oh, and then CPJ with a $50 super chat. Right. I like this idea.
Right,
He says,
I like this too.
Give me a list of number 2s in the league. I'll have to come up with that, yeah. CPJ. Next Tuesday, I'll have my list.
I'll have my list as well.
Next Tuesday, I will have my list of number 2 options in the NBA.
Marsh is going to have 5 names on his list.
No.
You might have 5 names.
No.
You said Beal's not, Levine's not, Brown's not.
Those are 3s.
Those are not 3s. Those are 2s.
Is AD a 2? Yeah, they won a championship with him. He's a number 2.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, just making sure you know ball.
Of course I think AD's a 2.
Well, Rich Rob asked.
Yeah, he's asking you because you're the one calling everybody a 3. He had to check you real quick. That's what Rich Rob was doing.
No.
He was checking you right there.
At best, Jaylen Brown is a 2B. He needs 2 players on his roster where one is better or one is just as good. I don't know if AD pulled a Jaylen Brown. He didn't shoot He didn't turn the ball over 8 times in an elimination game.
And also when AD's locked in, he's the best defender in the world.
I would say LeBron kind of had a couple choky games against the Nuggets. Game 2, Brown was cheeks. Dude, you guys got to start respecting the people that have been there and done that. AD's done it.
The dude was in the finals last year as a 2.
He lost.
Because his one had 21 points a game. He choked.
Yes, Jaylen Brown did choke yesterday.
Yes, yesterday, not last year in the finals.
If I were the Lakers and I was offered Jaylen Brown for AD, I am blocking their number.
Yes, and everybody's blocking their number.
In the chat, it looks like they like Jaylen Brown more than AD.
Nobody's saying that.
And Rich Rob's awfully close.
Rich Rob's checking you right now. He's making sure your head's on straight.
I don't know, man. Davidoff back again with a $20 super chat. Davidoff, you're a freaking legend. We already owe one beer shop fund. I'm about to talk about Jaylen Brown. I need to be level-headed for this. We'll do the beer shop fund race after that. If we get to 200, we'll do 2 beer shop fund races. We're at 166 right now. 166 right now. Johnson Yu says number 1 on Knicks Now, Marsher Coop. Number 2, Seeps. Udonis Haslem is Rolly.
Coop's at number 1.
Rolly, come here real quick. I got a question for you because I gave Seeps this, and he tried to give me some BS answer, and it pissed me the hell off.
What? What was this BS answer?
If you replace Dwayne Wade on any of the championship-winning teams for the Heat with LeBron, do they win any of those finals?
With Jaylen Brown.
If you take off Dwayne Wade, and not even close,
Stop
they don't
acting like
win.
D-Wade did anything in the second championship.
Bro, what are you talking about? See, this is the casual that sees
He's casual as hell.
No. This is the
He's
casual you guys
casual.
are.
Even though LeBron carried
No.
most of those finals,
He did.
D-Wade in the Eastern Conference side of things, taking him up. People forget he had to go into Indiana and drop 40 to keep that series going.
That was a Mickey
on.
Mouse Eastern
If
Conference.
you already said Jaylen Brown couldn't win next to Jokic.
Those Heat teams-
We just proved he couldn't win next to LeBron.
And that is not
Does
what
he
I
need
said.
Jesus Christ to
That
be
is
the
not
number
what
one?
I said.
Who
I
does
said-
he need?
I said you replace Murray right now with Jaylen Brown. They're probably not going to win.
Of
but if you
course
let
not.
them cook in the offseason, he can easily
Oh
be a
my
number
God!
2.
What do you want him to have? A couple of bunk bed sleepovers to get the chemistry right?
Yeah, you have to.
It's a joke. Jamal Murray is so much better. Mind you, Seep 6 months ago was telling me James Harden was better than Jamal Murray.
Yeah, mine.
Who knows ball? Who knows ball?
Mine
Me.
March. 2 weeks ago, he was saying James Harden's better than Jamal Murray.
That
is not cap.
What I said was, I don't know if Murray could have done what Harden did in those 2 games. But then I was right again because he can. Oh, my gosh. Exactly, CPJ.
I'm not comparing
Seeps out here
D-Wade
saying
to,
that.
Oh, my God. I'm not comparing D-Wade and Jaylen Brown. Those 2 championship teams.
No.
Those Heat teams were stacked.
Who's better, Paul George or Jaylen Brown?
Paul George.
Is he a 2?
Yes. Is Paul George not a 2? He was almost a 1 on a team that went to the title.
Almost. They lost in the conference finals.
To a super team.
So that's not almost. In my opinion, Paul George is a 2B. He's a 2B. So if you want to count 2Bs as 2s.
You actually don't think if Paul George is paired up with a Giannis or something?
What about when he was paired up with Russell Westbrook when he was an MVP? What happened there? Not good enough?
Is Russell Westbrook a 1?
When he was an MVP, yeah.
He was a 1.
Yes.
Russell Westbrook was a 1 when he was on it. He was a 1. Say it.
Am I wrong there? You're telling me Russell Westbrook,
he just said Westbrook
when he
was a
won
1.
MVP, was not a number 1.
We're talking about playoff.
You had Westbrook prime, Paul George prime, and Hoodie Mello, and they couldn't even win.
Dude, don't bring up those Thunder teams as Paul George being a true 2.
I don't know what he said.
Top 3 in MVP voting.
Well, what year was that?
28th, when he was on the Thunder.
When Westbrook won MVP?
He didn't win an MVP with Paul George.
Yeah, he did. I thought he did.
Nah, the one Westbrook won was when he was the one-man show with Oladipo.
It was the next year they got PG?
Yeah.
That was the year, like, with Durant snubbed them, and they won, like, 43 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a 2B. I don't think that's a bad take.
How are you top 3 in MVP voting and 2B?
That was 7 years ago.
Dude, you can't say Paul George is a 2B.
Can get done with Kawhi. Sean.
Oh, yeah, because Kawhi's playing all the time. Like,
Sean with a $10 super chat. What up, Sean? He says, what up, fam? Hope y'all are good. Am I the only person who has the concern, like, we make a big trade, but what does it matter if Tibbs can't outcoach Spoelstra and the Knicks can't beat the zone? Well, you're hoping those players that you trade for mask those deficiencies, right? Like you're hoping the guy that you trade for, you're hoping that guy takes just your talent level over the top. Look, let's be honest with ourselves. The Knicks were a Brunson turnover away from getting a Game 7 in the Garden. Yeah. Like, they're not that far off, and they did that, I think, not to spite Tibbs, but like, honestly, Tibbs probably coached a good series in that game. That was the worst Jimmy Butler had ever played. It was the worst the Miami Heat offense looked. You're fine with Tibbs, in my opinion. Now, beating the zone is a problem if you don't get another shooter, because that's what you need to beat the zone. You need more shooting. You need more guys that operate on the perimeter, not from the foul line down. I think I wouldn't stress too much about it, Sean. I wouldn't stress too much about it. I think they're going to make good moves. I'm going to continue to believe in this staff. Yeah, they had a bad summer where they signed Evan Fournier, but that was really the only bad deal. Like, Derrick Rose was fine. Reggie Bullock was good. Alec Burks was good until you had him start 65 games at point guard. And then you signed maybe one of the best free agency players in the last 10 years in Jaylen Brunson. And you made maybe the second best trade at the NBA trade deadline for Josh Hart. Let's give this regime a little more space. A little more space. All right, in today's show, since Jaylen Brown choked in Game 7, we're going to talk about potentially the Knicks trading for him, as those rumors have been swirling for quite some time. Should the New York Knicks go out and trade for Jaylen Brown? We're going to break it down on today's show. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. The trade rumors surrounding Jaylen Brown are already heating up after a disappointing series, not just for himself, because that was really disappointing, but also for the rest of the Boston Celtics. And the Boston Celtics, they have some tough decisions to make this upcoming offseason. Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum are both contract extension eligible, and with both of those guys being all NBA players, they both have supermax contracts on the table. Jaylen Brown's was 5 years, $295 million extension, and then Jayson Tatum with the Boston Celtics could sign a 5-year, $318 million extension. So the Boston Celtics may pony up $500 million over the next 5 seasons for 2 players that have a bunch of beta tendencies. They have a bunch of tough decisions to make. They have to figure out, do they want to run it back with those 2 guys for the next 4, 5, 6 years, or do they want to take a turn and potentially see if they can find another avenue to getting to the Larry O.B.? Because the Celtics, they've won just 1 NBA championship since the mid-1980s. Kind of bad. The Knicks are watching the Boston Celtics, no doubt about it. They have their eyes on this situation. There's been rumors that the Knicks are interested in Jaylen Brown dating back to last year's offseason when Brown had those weird comments about he doesn't want to be a Celtic anymore and he may want to look to be traded elsewhere. So from afar, Leon Rose is watching not just the Celtics, but a lot of other NBA superstars that could become disgruntled and wants to force their way out. So before we dive into the statistics on today's show, I just want to ask you guys this question. Should the Knicks trade for Jaylen Brown? Should they pull the trigger? Let me know what you think. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. Let me know. Should the Knicks trade for Jaylen Brown? When you get hit with that YouTube ad break, scroll on down and type your T for trade or P for pass. My man Xavier Justin, who does some work with Knicks Film School, an awesome follow on Twitter. Give him a follow. He tweeted this out back in February of 2023, right around the All-Star game. And he said, I have to say it. Jaylen Brown is the least deserving All-Star in the NBA, and he has some numbers to back it up. He said his raw on-off splits, he is minus 6.3, which was the second worst on the Boston Celtics at the NBA All-Star break. His Raptor score was just plus 0.3, which ranks 107th in the NBA. His LeBron score was 60th in the NBA. His BPM, 60th in the NBA. His effective field goal percentage and his true shooting percentage, just 55% and 59%, which is right around the NBA average. He was 64th in rebound percentage, 88th in assist percentage, and 77th in steal percentage, which tells me He doesn't affect the game in a multitude of areas. Is he great in the fast break? Yes. Can he make tough pull-up mid-range jumpers? Yes. Is he a solid defender? Yes. Not a great defender, but solid. And is he a guy that can get hot from downtown? No doubt about it. I'm not saying Jaylen Brown is some scrub, but what I am saying is he is not a superstar. He's in that star category where he's either a third or a second best player on a championship contender. I lean more towards the third best player or a 2A, 2B situation. We'll talk about that and more coming up. But first, with the summer here, you guys need to get hooked up with our awesome sponsor of today's show, Bird Dogs. Go to birddogs.com and use the promo code CHAT, and they're going to hook you guys up with a free Yeti-style tumbler. They got pants, joggers, shorts. They got every single style that you want. You could choose the length of your shorts. If you want the 5-inch inseam, the 7-inch inseam, or the 9-inch inseam, they've got the ones that you're looking for. Experience the comfort of Bird Dogs because they have mastered not only the look of an awesome pant or short, but the feel as well. With the fit, comfort, and versatility, the built-in liner, you are going to be looking good for every single different occasion. You can wear them to work. You can wear them to the gym. You can wear them to go play golf. You can wear them to go grab some drinks. Or maybe you could even wear them when you see Jaylen Brown fold like a lawn chair in Game 7. Just get hooked up with our sponsor. Support the show. We'd appreciate it. Birddogs.com. Promo code CHAT. Links in the comments and description. We got to be honest with ourselves. Jaylen Brown was absolutely awful against the Miami Heat in the Eastern Conference semifinals where that series went to 7 games. He was not good. And I think that's putting it lightly. He was quite literally, probably when it comes to minutes played, the worst player in that series. I think it's fair to say he might be a fraud. This man was getting denied by Duncan Robinson and just refused to go get the basketball. He did not want to be a part of the game. He wanted big bro Jayson Tatum and Marcus Smart to always take the tough shots. How does that always work out? Marcus Smart is always the guy taking the game-ending shot for the Celtics because Jaylen Brown turns into a little corner boy like Reggie Bullock was when he was on the New York Knicks. I think it's also safe to say that Julius Randle and Jaylen Brown are very, very similar. I don't really think it's all that much different. And I saw somebody post this on the internet. I'm somebody because it's the damn truth. They're the same player, and they put together the same pathetic performance against the Miami Heat. And the data, take that for data, backs it up. They both averaged 19 points per game. Randle averaged almost 11 rebounds, just 6 for Jaylen Brown. Obviously different positions, so I'm not going to look too much into that. But it comes to assist. Somehow Randle averages more assists than Jaylen Brown, but they average still, both of them, almost as many turnovers as assists, but actually Brown averages more turnovers than assists. Their field goal percentage, both 41 against the Miami Heat, but man, did I not think anyone could ever miss more threes in a series than Julius Randle against the Heat. And Jaylen Brown said, watch this. He shot not 1, not 2, but 16% from 3. It's awful. He was awful. And if the Knicks are going to trade for Jaylen Brown, I am assuming that R.J. Barrett is going to be the centerpiece of that deal. And I cannot handle Julius Randle and Jaylen Brown on the same basketball team because it would be a turnover every other possession. They don't play defense. They don't make others better. And they're very, very hit or miss. I cannot handle if Jaylen Brown and Julius Randle are on the same team. So if you're going to trade for Jaylen Brown, make sure Julius Randle is on his way to Boston. And you know this, if they do make a trade or they make a move or they do anything, we are going live on the channel. Knicks offseason coverage, better than anyone else out there. Hit that sub button right now. Sub for Knicks Dubs. Help us get to 30,000 subscribers. Not only was Jaylen Brown's playoff series numbers against the Miami Heat were atrocious, look at this. You're going to pay this man $66 million per year? Come on. Come on. Don't kid yourself. Jaylen Brown is good. He is good, no doubt about it. I think he is a good player. He's an all-star player, and I would label him as a star in the NBA. But he ain't that good. He ain't worth no $60 million per year. Not even close. And he is good, but he's not worth a max deal. Not at all. He has got semi-better every single year. The points per game continues to go up. But I am still just hungry for that next step from Jaylen Brown when he becomes a superstar and becomes a guy that hates to lose instead of likes to win, because I think that's the fear that I have. I don't think that Jaylen Brown hates to lose. That's my problem with him. And I'm not sold on him. I really am. I don't think that Jaylen Brown can be a second best player on a team and you win an NBA championship. Because if the man is getting paid $66 million per year, he has to be your second best player. And I just don't think the maths right there. I don't think he can be the second best player on a team if you're winning an NBA title, unless that third player is just as good. If that's the case, then I think he can do that. And also, I think the fit on the Knicks is a little bit weird. Because let's say you trade Julius Randle for him. Having RJ Barrett and Jaylen Brown as your 2 and 3, two ball-dominant guys that don't play defense and have inconsistent shots from downtown, I don't think that works all that well. And then if you trade RJ Barrett, we talked about it. You can't have turnover Randle and turnover Brown on the floor at the same time. The fit is weird. If I could trade RJ Barrett and Julius Randle and get Jaylen Brown and then maybe get a third piece from another team that doesn't need the ball to be effective, then maybe I could think about that. But I don't think that the fit is all that good currently on the New York Knicks. As always, I want to say thank you to everybody that tunes into New York Knicks Now. If you think I'm dumb, you think I'm not on the spot with this Jaylen Brown take, go yell at me over on Twitter, and we could talk about it over there at @MarshallGreen_. Appreciate you. Woo! Connor says no. Connor says no. Rich Rob says, I don't think he is totally our guy, though. No. Look. Oh, man. Julian says we need OG over Brown. I mean, when you factor in the contract, I would probably take OG Anunoby over Jaylen Brown. OG is going to be making what? I think it's $18 million per year. Jaylen Brown's going to be making $66 million. That's wild.
You want to save this for the sack?
No, we can hit it right now.
Okay.
Matthew Peterson coming in with a $2 super chat. His better contract. It's Caleb Martin or Brunson. Probably Martin, right? You're paying him $6.5 million per year. Like that's nothing. Was this like supposed to be some like funny question?
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, you're getting all-star level production at $6 million per year. I'd say that's a pretty good deal. Mark says, Marsh, I'm telling you as a Nets fan, you don't want Seth Curry? What's wrong with Seth Curry? Coming off the bench playing 18, 20 minutes per night, catching, shooting threes. That is my concern, Liam. I do wonder, and I said that in the video, and you guys can watch the video back in a second. We'll put it on the video. We'll put the video on the channel coming up in a little bit. But if you want to rewind, I talked about Seth Curry and I talked about my concerns and stuff like that. No doubt about it. CPJ, we're not running it. Let's do a beer shot fun real quick, if that's cool. John Borelli asks, are we still talking Brown? No, we're done talking about that fraud. We're done talking about Jaylen Brown. I don't know. Do y'all have the shop funds or no? I'm sorry, Borelli, if that turns you off. Might be. How far would a core of Jalen Brunson, Jaylen Brown, and Karl Anthony Towns go? Who's your center? Is Mitchell Robinson still your center? Is Cat your center? I think if you're going to trade for Cat, he's got to be your center. That's kind of my take. I think if you trade for Karl Anthony Towns, he has to be your starting center. I mean, just look at the lineups that these two teams in the finals play with. You got Bam at center, and you got Jokic at center, but their power forward is just another wing guy. And I don't think that Karl Anthony Towns... Okay, we'll pull that up. We didn't see that, CPJ. We'll pull that up in a second. I just think if Karl Anthony Towns is your power forward, you're going to have a really bad defensive team. And you're already going to have a bad defensive team if he's on your roster. I just think like if he's chasing around pick and roll ball handlers constantly. So if you have Cat at the 5, Brunson at the 1, Jaylen Brown at the 3, like who? I think you got to. You're better, right? You're probably better, but I think you'd be a contender in the East. Brown, Brunson, and Cat. I don't know if you're a finals contender though. I don't know if you can win a finals. A contender in the East, though. I mean, the Knicks were the third best team in the East this year. So, I don't know. All righty, we got a beer shot fun on deck. We're actually $17 in Super Chats away from knocking back another one. So, we'll do that. But let's knock this one out before we get to the mailbag. If you want to be featured on the show, we got a mailbag coming up. Hashtag Knicks in the comments section or Super Chat. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Ice cold. Ice cold. Ice cold. Woo! Dude, that was so fucking cold. Shit. Oh, my Lanta. Oh, CPJ with the $20 super chat. Let's hit his other super chat because I think he had some a little bit. I think he was trying to piss me off a little bit with his prior one. He says, "So what you're telling me? You're giving Russ the last shot?"
Oh, he was talking about the Paul George. I think.
I will say this, Seeps, and if you're a ball knower, you know this.
Here we go.
Who had the most buzzer beaters in the NBA when Russell Westbrook won the MVP?
Probably Russell Westbrook.
It was. How many years did it take Paul George to hit a buzzer beater?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. A while.
There were Gatorade commercials of him hitting buzzer beaters when he was already a part of the Thunder, and people were like, "Dude, you've never even hit one in real life." I'm not bashing Paul George.
What's your point where you're getting at here?
My point is that I probably would have Russ shoot the last shot. Not now, but on those Thunder teams, I probably would have. But I think that was.
I don't really disagree with that. So
calling Russ an alpha is crazy, according to CPJ. I don't think that's crazy. I don't think he has any beta tendencies.
Yeah, I was gonna say he almost is like, not like too much of an alpha, but
like, dude, he doesn't back down. Is he crazy inefficient? Is he a turnover problem? No doubt about it. But like, he ain't scared.
He's got no beta attitude to him. And then he said, another one.
And CPJ says another one. We got another beer shot fun coming up after this mailbag. Carl, you're a Cam Reddish guy. I can never be bugging. I can never be bugging, son. Like, I can understand
Call
people.
him out, Carl.
I can understand people saying I'm wrong, but when you have a long lineage of history saying Brunson was overpaid, Cam Reddish is the guy, and Josh Hart was a bad trade.
Yeah.
I can't rock with that. But I do like your OG and a newbie take. I like your OG and a newbie take. And a newbie. Carl, what the hell's going on, my man?
What's going on?
All righty, we're going to close out today's show with the mailbag. If you want to be featured on the video, hashtag Knicks or Super Chat, just comment your question down below. Carl, I'm calling you out. Put a question in the comment section, Carl. I want to hear from you. That's Rich
Carl,
Rob.
I'm going to be looking.
As Rich Rob says, here we go with OG. I need Rich Rob, Carl, and CPJ to ask their questions down below using hashtag Knicks. I need all the real ones to ask their questions down below. We're going to close out today's show with this. Let's get into it. A Knicks mailbag. What up, everybody? You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We got a mailbag on tap for today's video. And if we didn't get your question up on screen, it's probably because you're not a subscriber. So I'm going to give you the chance right now to fix that. Go down right now, hit that big red button, subscribe to the channel. And if you ask a question next week and you're a subscriber, I'll make sure Seeps puts it on the video. Let's start with this first one coming in from my guy To the Moon. He says, should the Knicks hire Bob Myers in the front office? Okay, so a little bit of a backstory. You're probably watching this video on the weekend. Bob Myers, he did step down from his president and general manager job with the Golden State Warriors. He made it seem like, though, that he doesn't really want to keep this type of job anymore. Reports are that the Golden State Warriors offered him the most money to stay with their team of any executive in the league, but he didn't want to be around anymore. So when it comes to the Knicks potentially bringing him in, one, I don't think it's going to be possible. But two, it wouldn't be a bad idea, right? 4-time NBA champion, 2-time NBA Executive of the Year. And he was a big part of those championship teams for the Warriors. He re-signed Klay Thompson and Seth Curry. He signed Kevin Durant, even though I don't know if I want to give him all that much credit, but he had his team in a spot where they could accept that much salary. And then he drafted Draymond Green. 5 really good things. He did a whole bunch of other good things, right? He got Wiggins. He turned D'Angelo Russell into Wiggins. He traded for Andre Iguodala. But he was also pretty bad at drafting. While he did draft Draymond Green, when you look on screen from 2015 to 2022, the only players that he drafted that helped out the Golden State Warriors were Looney, Jordan Poole, and that's it. Like, he smoked the Jonathan Kuminga pick, he smoked the Moses Moody pick, and he smoked the James Wiseman pick. That's 3 lottery picks that don't help a team at all. If the Knicks had a guy that smoked 3 lottery picks like that, you'd kick him out of town. Not saying Bob Myers isn't a good executive, because he is, but he ain't perfect. And I don't think the Knicks need him, but maybe you do. So give me your answer. Should the Knicks hire Bob Myers to be a part of this front office, whether that be he joins Leon Rose in some role or whatever? Should the Knicks go out and add Bob Myers to the front office? Type Y for yes, type N for no. My man Carl, what's good, Brody? He said, of all the possible trades and free agents you've made, who do you want? Who do you actually want? Put your GM cap on. When I talk about realistically, both sides agreeing. 2 guys that I have my eyes on are Bradley Beal and Paul George. I know that there's injury concerns with both those players, but they're 2 guys that I'm looking at. Paul George is a complete player. He could play the wing. He would be your probably best defender. He'd be a secondary ball handler to Jalen Brunson. And then when it comes to Bradley Beal, I think the Knicks could use another guy that could operate on the perimeter, that gets their buckets on the perimeter. You already have Jalen Brunson, who likes to attack from the foul line down. You have R.J. Barrett, who likes to attack from the foul line down. Mitchell Robinson can't do anything except it's from the foul line down. Julius Randle is foul line down. And obviously, some of those guys would probably be in those deals. But I would like a guy like Bradley Beal, where Jalen Brunson's dribbling the ball on one side of the court, and you got Bradley Beal coming off a pick down or a pin down, getting the ball on a weak side pass, and either can stop and pop or get to the rack. The injuries concern me with those guys, and the contract for Beal is pretty high. But those are 2 guys that I have my eyes on for sure. I'm also keeping my eyes on Andrew Wiggins. I heard some rumblings last year that the Knicks may be interested in. So those are 3 guys. I'll give you 3 guys right there. Matthew Peterson with a $2 super chat. Petey, I appreciate you. Get your feet out from under my desk because I'm tired of you kicking me. But he asked, better contract, Caleb Martin or Brunson? I think they're 2 of probably the top 5 best contracts in the NBA right now. But when you're getting Eastern Conference Finals MVP production, which Caleb Martin should have been at $6.8 million per year, Like that's probably the best contract in the NBA, right? Caleb Martin's playing like Paul George and Kobe Bryant had a little offspring. That's what he looks like out there. But I'll tell you this much. Jalen Brunson making $23 million per year. I bet the Mavs are still upset about that one, as they should be. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Knicks videos every single day on the latest Knicks news and rumors. We go live every single Tuesday. We also did 70 watch parties this year. So we don't just do off-season coverage. I know people always talk about rumors this, rumors that. Give me another NBA Knicks channel that went live for 70 games. I'll wait in the comment section. Hit that sub button. Let's roll. Sean, what's up, brother? He said, do you see a possibility of the Knicks bringing back Kristaps Porzingis? And if so, what's the odd man out, given that Tibbs only plays 9-man rotation? I wouldn't mind bringing KP back. I wouldn't mind bringing Kristaps Porzingis back, but like Beal and like Paul George, I am worried about the long injury history of him. Also, with him being a free agent and the Knicks not having any cap space, it would have to be a sign-and-trade move. And I believe if you do make a sign-and-trade move for Kristaps Porzingis, Julius Randle has taken himself to Washington. So you would have a starting lineup of Mitchell Robinson, Kristaps Porzingis, whoever your small forward is. Maybe we'll keep it at R.J. Barrett, Quentin Grimes, and Jalen Brunson. I don't know how much better you are. I know the offense flows together a little bit more. But can I count on Kristaps Porzingis being ready to play? That's one thing I will give, as hard as I am, pause, on Julius Randle. He played in 77 games this year before he rolled that ankle, and he's relatively been healthy throughout his Knicks career. While I always say availability is the best ability, it may not be the best ability, but it's a damn good one to have, and I'm concerned about KP's availability. Trey Green, what up, man? He says, would you trade quickly Mitchell Robinson, Obi, RJ, and Randall, plus all the picks if it netted Cat and Jaylen Brown? So you get to keep Grimes. So you would have Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, Jaylen Brown, Josh Hart at your 4, and Cat at your 5? I don't hate it. You're just kind of handicapped going forward, right? These are two betas right here. Cat's a beta, and Jaylen Brown is a beta. I don't mind that starting lineup. I'm going to do a video on this later in the offseason where I think that Josh Hart may need to transition to being a power forward, like a small ball 4 in the starting lineup. Would I trade quickly Mitchell Robinson, Obi, RJ, and Randall plus all the picks? No, I'm not doing that. I don't think I am. Josh Hart is also 6'6", JJ. So don't be stupid. And JJ's coming up on this mailbag. He says, do you think we need an offensive center? Mitch is a liability. We're playing 4 versus 5 most times. Josh Hart is a true 6'6", probably 225. And quite literally one of the best rebounders in the NBA at his size. Let's not forget, Draymond Green, how tall was he? 6'6", 6'7", and I think he was the power forward on 4 championship teams. Don't know if I know that for sure, though. JJ, though, not necessarily. I don't think necessarily you need an offensive center. While I do think it would help, I don't think that it would. I don't think that you need an offensive center, to be honest. I think you have Hartenstein, who does a good enough job of spacing the floor and being kind of that ball handler at the top of the key is fine. So, no, I don't think you need one. While Mitch is a liability, I value his defense and his rebounding. I think that changes series. Ask the Cleveland Cavaliers about that one. Name someone you want the Knicks to add to the roster, though. Let me know down in the comment section, whether it be a trade or a free agent acquisition. Give me somebody you want the Knicks to add this offseason. Krem's dad says, have the Knicks hit the Tibbs ceiling? That's a good question. I'm going to be honest with you. No, I don't think they have. I mean, think about it like this, guys. Julius Randle was a fraud in the series against the Heat, and you were a Jalen Brunson turnover away from getting to Game 7, and Emmanuel Quickley, your 6th man of the year, didn't even play the last 4 games. So no, I don't think that you've hit the ceiling. Is there a ceiling? Absolutely. Absolutely there's a ceiling, Crimstad. I don't think the Knicks have hit that, though. CPJ, the GOAT, says, is there a possibility we can get Gary Trent Jr.? I think he would be a great fit and would definitely help our team. Good 3-and-D guy. He is a great shooter, no doubt about it. I wouldn't necessarily call Gary Trent a 3-and-D guy. While he's not a bad defender, I wouldn't call him a good defender by any means. But the problem is I think Gary Trent may get $18, $19, $20 million per year in NBA free agency, and the Knicks don't have any cap space. They have those two exceptions that we always talk about, the 12.2, and I think it's 4 point something as well. They're 4.5. The non-taxpayer exception is 12.2. The biannual is 4.5. Theoretically, you could do a sign and trade for Gary Trent. Like, if you have a starting lineup, let's say Jalen Brunson, Gary Trent, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson, that's pretty good. I just wonder a little bit about the defense in the backcourt. Not saying Trent's a bad defender, but he would draw the assignment of guarding the other team's number one opposing scorer. I just don't know if that's a recipe for success. But I like him. I like him, no doubt about it. Good player. Dude can freaking shoot it, no doubt about it. As always, we appreciate everybody for getting their questions in here on the mailbag. If I missed your question, you can hit me up on Twitter, at @MarshallGreen_.
I know exactly what you're looking up right now.
Watch this.
The 6.
It says he is, but I have a picture of him standing next to Jimmy Butler, and they're the same height. How does that happen? How did that happen? My laptop did just die, though, so I can't see anything. Richard Romanoff says, hi, Marshall. Tell me a player the Knicks could get to win the NBA. Definitely not Jaylen Brown, I'll tell you that much.
Giannis.
Yeah, go get Giannis to be the number 2 next to Brunson. Go be the number 2 next to Brunson. Also, these guys call themselves New York fans. It's not about the size of the dog. It's about the size of the heart in the dog. Remember when Julius Randle got benched in Game 5? Was it 4 or 5 against the Cavs? I think it was 4. It wasn't the closeout. Was it the closeout game?
No, it was 4 because it was in New York. Oh no, it was the closeout.
Who was playing the power forward when they closed him out?
Josh Hart.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Josh Hart.
It was Josh.
It was. Okay.
He's a big guard. Big guard.
I'm not even calling Josh Hart a guard. He's a wing, in my opinion.
He can play 1 through 4.
I think he can. Because a lot of people are saying Josh Hart can't guard power forwards. Who's the power forward for the Heat in closing time?
Love? No.
Love doesn't play in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Martin?
Yeah, that's my point. Can Josh Hart guard Caleb Martin? Maybe not because Caleb Martin's so good,
plus,
but it ain't because of size.
Who's a traditional forward?
There are no traditional power forwards that play like that really anymore.
Yeah.
Like, even the Nuggets, their power forward's Aaron Gordon. While he is 6'8", 6'9", I think that Josh Hart could guard him.
Yeah.
I think he could. So, yeah, that's my spiel on that one. A player, though, outside of Giannis, I know a lot of people don't like it, but I really am keeping my eyes on Bradley Beal and Paul George. Those are two guys that I'm really looking at.
I like Beal. Beal would be, I think, perfect fit for the Knicks.
Yeah, I do as well. Have we done 2 beer bongs already?
No, we owe 1.
We owe 1? All right. I don't know where we're at. My laptop died. So
223.
223? All right, we're going to do a beer shot fun, and then we're going to sign off on today's video. Seeps has to catch a flight. Let's get it messed up for the flight, though. If we get to 250 in Super Chats, we'll do another beer shot fun. We'll do another beer shot fun if we get to 250 in Super Chats. We're 20 away, right?
$27 away.
$27 away.
If we get 25, we'll do it.
250, we'll do another one. All right, this one's for the real one. Shout out to you guys. Awesome show today. Even if you think Jaylen Brown is good, that's okay. We're all wrong about some things, me just not many. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Dude, I'm going to be honest. These taste like soap. There's a little soapy sensation in here. Yeah, make sure you rinse that soap out next time. Is that Dawn blue dish soap? That's definitely blue dish soap right there. Ah, that's just tremendous. That's tremendous. All righty. About that time? That's a good weigh-in too right there. That's a good graphic right there, Seeps. How did that even happen? Oh. Alrighty. I'm going to put 2 minutes on the shot clock. 2 minutes on the shot clock. We're signing off in 2 minutes. I think we've already been live for 2 hours at this point.
Yeah, damn near.
We've been live for almost 2 hours. There's been a lot of educational points in this video. If you have a dumb friend out there that thinks Jaylen Brown's a good basketball player, send him this video. He will then change his point of view.
If you have a friend that, likes to just take the recency bias pill every morning, send them over here too.
Hey, that's fair. I'll accept that critique.
All right.
I'll accept that critique. But you know that if your second best player is Jaylen Brown, you're not winning a championship. You can get there and even maybe win a couple of games.
You can.
You ain't hoisting. Jaylen Brown is not a Fetty guy, dude.
Oh, he's a Fetty guy.
Jaylen Brown is not a Fetty guy.
He's a Fetty guy.
Everybody, let's do an exercise. Close your eyes and imagine Jaylen Brown holding the Larry O.B. for a championship parade.
He'll get you
I don't see it.
He'll get you Fetty on Knicks Now.
Thing is, he ain't even doing that. Yet. Oh, man. All right. 30 seconds. How far are we away?
27.
27. No biggie. Already a great show today. Wish my laptop didn't die so I can continue to chirp you fools in the comment section. I love you guys in the comment section. Even all of your bad takes like Carl has. I still love you. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. Hanging out with us as we've been live for an hour and 55 minutes today. We will be live this time next week.
Yeah. And we'll have our list of number twos.
This on the show next week. I will have guys that I think could be a second option on championship contender.
True second option.
I'm going to give you a little tease of one that I think some people might not think so. And as a Knicks fan, this makes me look really bad. But I believe Trae Young could be a second best player on a championship team.
No, that's fine.
Okay, just making sure you know ball.
Definitely.
Just making sure you know ball. He was already the best player on a team that got to the conference finals.
Yeah, he can be a 2.
All righty, we're signing off on today's show. We'll see you later. Later, homies.
Peace.